Many parents taking to the streets, some even resorting to physical violence because of the Dengvaxia scare. But medical experts say there's no need to panic. Our senior correspondent Cecil Ardizabal tells us more.
How did you take this?
Blue Ribbon Committee Chair Richard Gordon goes straight to the point. He says it appears Dengvaxia is an experimental vaccine, that the Department of Health was not prepared for the mass immunization program in April 2016, that the system failed, and some officials may have made money out of Dengvaxia.
And Dr. Dukusin admitted that their office is not prepared for this. She emphasized the lack of manpower, kulang ang tao, and capacity to perform the monitoring. She mentioned that if the dengue vaccination is desired to be implemented immediately, a demonstration project may be more practical and feasible. Tama po yan?
Opo. Gordon said they found out some people at the health department at the time kept records that would reinforce the alleged inefficiency of Dengvaxia maker Sanofi Pasteur and reveal potential vaccine risks. There were no officials from the public attorney's office during the hearing. They were supposed to clarify their findings linking the death of some children to the vaccine. So Committee on Health and Demography Chairman J.V. Ejercito moved to subpoena PAO Chief Persida Acosta and PAO forensic expert Dr. Erwin Erfe to attend the next hearing. Medical experts say reports about Dengvaxia should not cause panic and hysteria. They said parents should be sober, vigilant, and aware of issues related to the vaccine.
Is it already a cause for a parent like me to panic o mag-alala?
Hindi rin po kasi hindi pa natin nakukuha yung final result from the Dengue Investigative Task Force. Meron hong maliit na risk na masasabi na baka na-enhance nga yung sakit
po mga may sakit na naturukan, baka napabilis.
Pero,
so, is there any
but
concrete...
we can address that ho by very prompt health seeking. Pag lagnat ang bata, pumunta ho sa dalubhasang doktor, hindi yun pipitsugang manggagamot.
And how you can help your association, the Philippine Medical Association, can help bring back the confidence?
It's about the forensic findings versus the findings of the PGH. All of the doctors involved here ay lahat sila membro ng PMA. So palagay ko naman hindi sila hindi kung imbitahan namin sila lahat at pag-usapan namin ito sa professional level para hindi magkawindang-windang yung interpretation.
Cecil Ardizabal, CNN Philippines.
Former Health Secretary Esperanza Cabral says the Public Attorney's Office is partly to blame for the panic and, quote, mass hysteria over the dengue vaccine controversy. Cabral believes PAO is doing a disservice instead of helping parents of children vaccinated with Dengvaxia. Our senior anchor, Pinky Webb, reports.
A confrontation after a House hearing on the controversial dengue vaccine Monday. Wearing black shirts and calling for justice, parents of supposed Dengvaxia victims charged at former Health Secretary Janet Garin.
The deception that is happening, the public uproar that's being created is something that should not happen to a country like the Philippines.
Now a group of around 400 doctors led by former Health Secretary Esperanza Cabral is asking the Public Attorney's Office to stop conducting autopsies on children who died after being administered the vaccine.
But what did these people do? They had a television crew inside the autopsy room. And right after they had cut the bodies up, maybe not even have harvested the organs, they appeared on television with their hands bloodied, with their masks on, with a gown on to say that most likely these patients died from the Dengvaxia.
Cabral says PAO should not release conclusions of their autopsies. So instead of helping parents of those vaccinated with Dengvaxia, Cabral believes PAO is doing them a disservice, resulting in hysteria.
Eh di, takot na takot ngayon yung mga ibang nanay na hindi pa namamatay yung mga anak nila. So nagkaroon na ng panic reaction, nagkaroon na ng mass hysteria tungkol dito sa sinasabi niyang kasamaan ng Dengvaxia. At ito ay lumipat na hindi lamang mula sa mga bakuna para sa dengue.
Cabral also expresses concern over the drastic impact of the controversy on the Health Department's vaccination program for other illnesses. And if the panic persists, we should brace ourselves for outbreaks.
Pag tayo ay hindi nagkaroon ng mahusay na immunization rate para dito sa mga sakit na ito, magkakaroon tayo ng disease outbreaks na hindi na natin nakikita sa matagal na panahon.
The former health chief also denies she has a connection or link to Dengvaxia maker Sanofi Pasteur.
Wala po kaming kinalaman sa Sanofi, hindi kami nakikipag-usap sa Sanofi kailanman.
She adds they are not requesting for autopsies on supposed Dengvaxia victims to stop. They just want more competent individuals or experts to handle these cases.
But if your score at making a diagnosis from these autopsies is poor, then I think you should leave doing that autopsy to people who are more competent.
Pinky Webb, CNN Philippines.
President Rodrigo Duterte leads the destruction of smuggled luxury cars at the Customs Bureau. 20 smuggled luxury vehicles were destroyed. A backhoe ran over and crushed the cars one by one as the president watched. There were similar scenes in Davao and Cebu where 10 smuggled vehicles were also wrecked. Lexus, BMW, Corvette, Audi, Mercedes-Benz and Jaguar, just some of the brands that crumbled under the weight of the moving backhoe. The estimated value, more than 60 million pesos. President's message is clear, smuggling will not be tolerated. Although the units are practically destroyed, President has an idea on how to make use of them, and that is to give them to scrap buyers. Here's the President in his own words.
Itong smuggling na ito, this kind of racket has been going on again and again and again over a period of centuries. Well, it has to stop. Just make me a rough computation. A true and correct, rough lang. Ngayon ba, without looking into the papers, how much it is? Kasi ang order ko kay DILG Secretary, pati kay I don't know what's the other one. Sabi ko, ibigay ninyo sa tiga pabili ng bakal. At least, hindi sila makakotse ng ganon. Pero baka may kuha pa sila doon, laruan na.
National Police Chief Ronald De La Rosa wants more SAF troopers manning the new Bilibid prison. His aim to put an end to the illegal drug trade in the high-security jail facility. Our George Cahilas tells us more.
From the layers of ISIS-inspired Mote Group to the so-called command center of the illegal drug trade, the new Bilibid prison. Some police veterans of the Marawi siege led by Chief Inspector Christopher Mendoza marched their way to the National Penitentiary on Tuesday as they replaced SAF troopers who completed their tour of duty.
The SAF heroes did their very best and even sacrificed their precious lives in battle. Let us also do our share of sacrifices, even in our own simple way, by serving this institution as incorruptible police officers and a true-blooded SAF troopers.
PNP Chief Ronald De La Rosa challenges SAF commandos to be firm against accepting bribe from convicted drug lords.
Sipin mo, doble na yung sweldo ninyo, pinromote pa kayo. Grabe naman kung tatanggap pa kayo dyan sa bribe ng mga inmates dyan sa loob. Ipakain nyo sa kanila yung pera nila. Please, don't let me down. Don't let me down. Tadadadang, tadadadang. Yung alam yung tadadadang? Pag you let me down, ibig sabihin, tadadadang, tadadadang. Yun. Akong babaril sa inyo. Pag kayo ay tatanggap ng bribery dyan sa loob.
De La Rosa, who will become the next Bureau of Corrections chief, wants to deploy SAF personnel at the medium security compound, as he received reports of drug transactions happening there. A battalion of SAF troopers numbering around 400 are manning the maximum security compound and Building 14 inside the NBP. And while internal security is beefed up, De La Rosa says they are also on the lookout for Chinese drug lords operating outside the prison, like those in Binondo, Manila.
Palabasin na palagi na dito nagagaling yung transaksyon ng droga para ang focus andito lahat. Nakafocus na dito, hindi na mapapansin yung mga drug lords sa labas at sira pa yung Bureau of Corrections at saka Special Action Force.
De La Rosa also visited the Correctional Institute for Women in Mandaluyong City and spoke with so-called drug queen, Yuyuklay. George Cahiles, CNN Philippines.
House Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez says the current budget subsidy for local governments will be scrapped once the country embraces federalism. Alvarez explains the internal revenue allotment will be replaced by a revenue-sharing scheme wherein component states will get a bigger share of the budget. Under the present system, proceeds from tax collection are split 60-40, with 60% going to the national government, 40% going to the local governments. Alvarez says that under a federal system, LGUs would get to keep up to 85% of tax collections. He believes this is enough to finance their expenses and would force regions to be competitive and utilize resources well.
Doon sa concept kasi ng federalism, talaga magkakaroon ng competition, pagalingan yan bawat state. So, pwede silang gumawa ng kanya-kanyang policies, economic policies, upang sa ganun ay mahikayat nila yung mga investors na mag-locate doon sa kanilang lugar.